All right, we are continuing to follow that breaking news out of Lawrenceburg, where just a heartbreaking fire claimed the life of a firefighter overnight and seriously injured two others.
And News Channel 5's Dan Kennedy been on the scene all morning talking with investigators, getting the latest information. And Dan, what Jennifer just said, a heartbreaking morning for this small community.
Yeah, very difficult for the Lawrenceburg Fire Department, a tight-knit community, and certainly also for the family and friends of that firefighter who was lost in the line of duty late last night while battling a fire at this home, which sits off a private driveway on Hood Lakes Road. And two other firefighters were also injured in this fire. And with some of the sunlight, we're starting to get a better idea of some of the damage. We're showing you the right side of the house where a ladder truck remains on scene, and investigators are going to be out here for hours, if not potentially days, as they investigate this fatal fire. Call came in about 4:30 last night, escalated to a Mayday call at 8 p.m. That's when firefighters learned their worst fear, that they lost one of their own. And at about 2:30 this morning, I passed a police escort on I-65 North as it was headed towards the medical examiner's office in Davidson County. A full police escort transporting that firefighter's body to the medical examiner's office, where a full autopsy will be conducted a little later today. As for those other two firefighters who were taken to the hospital, we don't have an exact update on their condition, though I have learned that it appears one of them has a little more serious injuries than the other. At 10 o'clock this morning, they're holding a news conference at the Lawrenceburg Fire Department, where we expect to learn a little more information, including the identity of the firefighter killed, and just learn a little more about his legacy. And Amy and Jennifer, we know how close-knit the fire community is. Condolences pouring in from across the state, really from across the region, on social media this morning, including from one person who knows that firefighter, who indicates he believes behind two young children. We will learn all that a little later this morning. And also, I can tell you that fire crews from across the mid-state came down to assist Lawrenceburg with other calls last night, as the fire department here was busy mourning the loss of one of their own. Reporting live in Lawrenceburg, Dan Kennedy, News Channel 5.
Do begin with an update on that breaking news we've been following, the death of a firefighter and a community in mourning. Dan Kennedy is live now in Lawrenceburg, where a news conference was just held. Dan.
Vicki, we've just learned that firefighter Jason Dickey was an 11-year career veteran of the Lawrenceburg Fire Department, and he lost his life last night. This is a small, close-knit fire department, about 24 firefighters. Firefighter Jason Dickey, pictured right here, killed last night in this fire, and several others were also injured, including firefighter Kendall Sherrill, who remains in the ICU at this time. Also injured were firefighters John Brewer and Captain Brian Green, and also a captain with the New Prospect Fire Department, who's expected to be released a little later today. We have some brand new video from Sky 5 overhead of this home on Hood Lakes Road. The fire call actually came out at about 4:30 yesterday afternoon. Fire crews arrived on the scene. It was an elderly couple inside who managed to get out. And then by 8 o'clock last night, as they continued to battle this blaze, the Mayday call came in, firefighters' worst fear. Within 10 minutes later, we learned that a roof had collapsed, trapping several of those firefighters inside. Within 10 minutes later, they were extricated and taken to a hospital, where firefighter Jason Dickey was pronounced dead and several others hospitalized. We talked to a man who helped rescue the elderly couple from that burning home, and in an emotional news conference that ended just minutes ago, we also heard from some of Jason's colleagues.
We lost a hero.
I mean, I hate it for the family, for sure.
They certainly are feeling it this morning. It was an emotional news conference here at the Lawrenceburg Fire Department, where now a flag flies at half-staff in honor of firefighter Jason Dickey, who, by the way, leaves behind a wife who is pregnant and expecting a child in just a few weeks. Also leaves behind a 16-year-old daughter, a son who's 11 years old, and a daughter who is 2 years old. I also want to talk about the close-knit fire community, and really the close-knit Lawrenceburg community in general. This entire parking lot was full of supporters for that news conference here, rallying around Jason's family. And I also want to talk about all these fire departments who came in to assist with the Lawrenceburg Fire Department overnight. While they were busy mourning the loss of one of their own, firefighters from places like Spring Hill, Murfreesboro, Laverne, Rutherford County, you name it, all came in to help answer 911 calls that Lawrenceburg was unable to do overnight. It is going to be a tough day for this community, as this is only the second firefighter ever to die in the line of duty in Lawrenceburg. And we're going to have continued coverage throughout the day, the loss of firefighter Jason Dickey and the recovery of those other firemen who were also injured last night. Reporting live in Lawrenceburg, Dan Kennedy, News Channel 5.
A community in mourning after a firefighter loses his life on the job.
Tonight, the city of Lawrenceburg grieves for Jason Dickey and prays for the others hurt in the blaze.
News Channel 5's Dan Kennedy begins our team coverage with more on firefighter Dickey's final call.
This is a hard time and a trying time for our department.
Firefighters spend a lifetime training for tragedy.
I want to ask for everybody's prayers.
But even the most well-trained can never fully prepare for a day as tragic as this.
Engineer Jason Dickey, 38 years old, succumbed to his injuries last night.
Firefighter Jason Dickey responded to his final 911 call at 4:30 Monday afternoon. He boarded a fire truck and drove 2 miles away to a burning home on Hood Lakes Road.
I guess everything just went about as bad as you could imagine.
Eric Lanning lives next door and helped evacuate the home's elderly couple to safety. The flames spread, and 3 hours later, firefighters heard the word they forever fear.
We hear Mayday over the radios, and the roof had collapsed, I believe, on top of one of their firemen.
A roof collapse trapped Jason Dickey and 4 other firemen for 12 minutes. The other firefighters rushed inside to rescue them. 4 of them survived, but Dickey, an 11-year veteran of the Lawrenceburg Fire Department, did not.
That was one of their men that got lost last night, and they'll all feel that. And I hate it for them, and I hate it for the family for sure.
Dickey's family is just weeks away from growing. The 38-year-old leaves behind 3 children and a pregnant wife due to have their baby soon. And now his family and these firefighters are left dealing with the tragedy even the most experienced are never fully prepared for.
They're just like one of my own. You know, these kids that I call kids because I'm the oldest guy here, you know, are my boys. You know, they're the boys that I never had, and I've lost one of my boys.
This rural home sits about half a mile off the main road, and fire crews even pumped water from the nearby lake at one point last night as a source. This evening, fire crews have since cleared the scene, and the investigation into what sparked that blaze is ongoing. Reporting from Lawrenceburg, Dan Kennedy, News Channel 5.